Behold, the Beats Studio Pro are here, and they are a lot like the ones that came before them, right? Still look pretty much the same, still sound pretty much the same. A little better, we'll talk about that. And they still cost $350. But we've been using the Beats Studio Pro for about a week now, and there's some things we know and some things we don't. And well, that's it, that's the review, thanks for coming. All right, you want some more, we got you. But first, you know what to do, you gotta hit the subscribe button, you got to hit the little notification bell. Anyway, all that out of the way, I'm Phil Nickinson, and this is Digital Trends. These are the Beats Studio Pro, let's go. The Beats Studio Pro look almost exactly like the Beats Studio 3 that came before them about 3 years ago. They're priced the same at $350. They still sound really good. We'll talk more about that in a second. And they fit about the same. But there are a handful of differences that you need to know about that you might not notice right away. And by the way, Beats is still a subsidiary of Apple. That'll be important here in a second. So straight out of the box, and Beats is very quick to say that this is a 100% recycled packaging thing. You will get the headphones themselves in a soft case that kind of looks like a toiletries bag that you might take on a trip. I tell you, I like it more than a hard case because those almost always take up too much room. So inside you've got the headphones, and you have a USB-C to USB-C cable and a 3.5mm audio cable. And there's also a zippered section that's kind of hidden, but it is roomy enough to fit, well, another set of earbuds if you really want to do that. And well, that's it. That's all that's in here. Now, as everyone knows, the Beats Studio Pro are powered by the giant B logos on either side of the ear. They harness the invisible waves of excellence that surround all of those who wear them. Not really, I know. Okay, sorry, not sorry, but I absolutely still have to point out that these things have the giant Beats logos on the ear cups. They're gonna turn you into a walking billboard, and for some, that's part of the appeal. And for everyone, well, that's part of what makes up the price. You're buying into the Beats brand as much as anything here, and that's not surprising given that all of this is part of the Apple ecosystem, right? There is a tax. But the Beats Studio Pro are not Apple headphones. That difference starts with the fact that they no longer use an Apple processor. And the Studio 3 used Apple's W2 platform, but now Beats is on its second generation proprietary platform. Now that's not to say Apple didn't help it out a bit. It most certainly did, and that's apparent right away in the setup process. So just get the headphones close to your iPhone or iPad or whatever, and it will take over from there. You get just about the same sort of built-in settings as you get with AirPods too, and that's nice. Now if you're on Android, you'll want to fire up the Beats app to get access to those same settings. It's an extra step, but it's not a huge one. And with all that done, you've got a pretty familiar experience. The active noise cancellation is good, really good even. I haven't gotten to take these on an airplane just yet, but I have a feeling they're gonna be just fine. Now new this time around is transparency mode. Good. If you've never used it before, it's a mode that lets you still hear things that are going on around you while at the same time blocking a lot of the ambient noise. So the power button on the right-hand side lets you toggle through the different transparency modes. That's the good news. The bad news is the transparency is just okay. It does seem a little sluggish and just frankly isn't as good as the competitors, but it's better than nothing. So also new is that USB-C cable, and that's important for a few reasons. First is that it's 2023 and everything should be USB-C, finally. And second is that you can use that USB-C cable for audio too, while you're charging, so you can listen while you're charging the headphones. Kind of neat. And USB-C audio also means you can get a higher quality of audio signal that you just can't get over Bluetooth. Now, I gotta be honest here. I have a really hard time telling the difference between what I'm listening to over Bluetooth and when I'm using USB-C audio. For me, it's just a really slight difference, and none of that makes up for the fact that you're going from a wireless experience to something that has you tethered to your phone or iPad or whatever. By the way, if you're even gonna try to do this with an iPhone, just don't bother, okay? USB-C to Lightning does not get you high quality USB-C audio for some reason. I don't know why. At least insofar as it goes with the Lightning connector. Maybe that'll change with the iPhone 15 when it finally gets USB-C. We'll just have to wait and see. So the short version is this. If USB-C is really important to you, then you already know this and you're not listening to me. That's fine. but just know that it's an option. But for me, I'm sticking with wireless. Now the buttons on the Beats Studio Pro haven't changed, and I actually like that a lot. The big B logo on the left cup serves as a play, pause, and skip button, and you can customize that a little in the app. Now it's a huge target, which I love. Too many headphones have just tiny little buttons that you have to finagle and find and then remember what they do in the first place, and that's no good. I really like this. One side, one button. And in fact, it's so big and so easy, it kind of makes up for the fact that the Beats Studio Pro don't automatically pause whatever you're listening to when you take them off your head. That's kind of a miss, but at the same time, it's really easy to just hit that one big button, pause things, take them off, and you're good to go. And a quick word on fit. Now, my head is obviously different than yours. It's better and prettier and balding, but that's another story. But I'm still very much digging the way that the Beats Studio Pro fit. So the cushions on the headband and the ear cups aren't removable, and Beats says that shouldn't be a problem. We'll just have to take their word for it for now and see as time goes on. It's the sort of thing you gotta use them for 6 months for a year before you can tell. That said, I'm a little concerned about the placement of the USB-C port. You see how it's just tucked right up in there in that ear cushion. Depending on how much you're charging and how careless you are, you might end up stabbing that little foam cushion a lot with your cable. We'll just see. Speaking of time, there's the state of the plastic as well. Now, almost immediately, as soon as I started touching this thing, especially with the dark color, it started soaking up oil from my fingers. Between that and just the feel of the plastic in the first place, gonna have to wait and see how it holds up in another year. The overall fit is snug without being tight. I've worn these for a number of hours at a time and haven't gotten all sweaty, haven't gotten headaches. It's really not bad. For those of you who wear over-ear headphones at the gym, and I don't know how you do it, you should be good to go. Now, let's talk sound quality. It's good, really good even. The Beats Studio Pro have 40mm active drivers, 2 layers, micro vents, fine acoustic mesh, audio stuff that audio products tend to have these days. Beats says it sounds better than the Studio 3, and you know what? We say that too. They might not make it on the top of a best headphones list, but I tell you, they're absolutely gonna be in the conversation. As for the audio itself, there's plenty of room from the low end to the high end, and I'm actually enjoying songs with spatial audio in a way that I don't when I'm wearing my AirPods Pro, which are my daily drivers. It's just kind of more natural and less in your face, literally, I guess. Again, the noise cancellation is really good. The transparency is really not as good, and that's a shame. Maybe it's something they can tweak, but I wouldn't bet on it. And for those of you who use headphones to actually make phone calls, I'm told that's still a thing that happens. Well, you can do that here. And I tell you what, let's spend 20 seconds staring awkwardly at me while we listen to a test. All right, this is me testing the Beats Studio Pro, running USB-C audio wired into a MacBook Pro and recording in Audacity. So let's see how it sounds. And this is through Bluetooth on the Beats Studio Pro. Not connected by USB-C, but still going into a MacBook Pro into Audacity. See how it sounds. All right, that's it. There's your test. Finally, let's talk battery life. Now, Beats says to expect about 22 hours with noise cancellation on and up to 40 hours without it on. And in our use, we've seen about that too. Here's my thing about battery. It's not actually something I worry that much about, because if you're listening for more than like 2, 3, 4, 5 hours at a clip, you probably need to get up and stretch anyway. If you're on a long flight or just working too much, get up for 10 minutes, plug them in. Beats says 10 minutes on the charger will get you another 4 hours of use. So again, not a big concern for me. All right, let's bring this in for landing. I like the Beats Studio Pro a lot. From the case, to the fit, to the sound, to the battery life, there's a lot of really good stuff going on here. But, you knew there was a but coming, I come back to the price. At $350, that puts you in the same conversation as the competitors like Sony and Bose and all the usual suspects, right? And here's the thing, they tend to have more bells and whistles at that price point than Beats has here in the Beats Studio Pro. Things like better codecs, like aptX and not just AAC. Things like multi-point across the board so you can connect to multiple devices at the same time. Or just better sound and noise cancellation and transparency. So at the end of the day, it kind of makes me wonder, is that $350 really going to all the audio and all the sound quality? Or how much is going to that big B logo on the side of my head? What's inside is good, really good even. But at this price, you have options. That's it for the Beats Studio Pro. If you think I'm totally wrong, let me know in the comments. I promise I'll read them. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, notification bell. That's it. Catch you next time.